for most men, particularly when you look at emotional abuse, for most men, we actually have a narrower definition of what abuse is. Tongofuna tikata kuti abuse, and this doesn't just apply to men yet, even kune madzimayo zvakare, we all have a narrower definition of abuse. Kuti when someone says kuti I'm being abused, we quickly think kuti it's just physical abuse. And we forget imwe abuse, mando abuse yakashata zvakanyanya inonzi emotional abuse. That's why in the past few weeks I've been talking about why we should actually raise emotionally intelligent couples, people that know how not to hurt each other emotionally, how to, to give each other good emotional space and all that. So that's what we've been running with. So you find with things like mental health issues that we're facing now, no. Zvatotangira somewhere. And in most cases, when you look at these husbands that we're talking about today, zvakatangira pa emotional abuse. And then one thing led to the other. And before you know it, they now have serious mental health challenges. Ukatarisisa, ukadzikisa gejo. Utozoona kuti no, it started off iri emotional abuse, zvichida iri sato, zvishingodaro. And you also have other men, Vikendi, vekuti vari kupinda into my emotional affairs. I think we should be talking about emotional affairs soon because we want to link it with my emotionally intelligent couples. A lot of guys end up with my emotional affairs simply because they are in that emotional space. Isiri right, yokuti kumba, they are not being appreciated, and before you know it, they open up to someone else who's willing to take care of them emotionally. That's why it's important for every one of us to be emotionally intelligent if we are going to navigate in my relationships, particularly in this era yatava zvakutoda kuti munhu ave emotionally intelligent. Ndaitaura navo vakomana ndikati mune challenge wafana because isusu pataidheta kudhara zvanga zvitombori nani, but now ma 2000 I'm a 2K they have self-awareness weekend, and they know what they want and they know how they feel, they know their emotions, they are aware of everything. So you have to be very educated in order for you to, like, educated as in kuti kuziva, how to handle someone, how to to be emotionally intelligent in terms of taking note of their emotions, their feelings, and validating them and empathizing with them and all those things, and regulating such emotions. So you need to learn. Okay, so that's very, very important. So you find with a lot of men then start very emotional abuse, and before you know it, you have to have a mental health issue, sungirira, depression, zvakatangira papi. When you trace that,
kuti azodaro varume are now weaker.
Exactly.
And a weak man.
Exactly. Okay. And reasons angatori bo, we didn't know kuti he had inner struggles, zirimahari, and when you talk to that person, you then find out that things were not good in their relationship, and they end up becoming suicidal. Because munango muke weekend are suicidal, munango muka ne depression. Panikwa zvakatangira, and if we trace kuzvatangira papi, usually it's about relationships. How are we relating with people? What disappointments are we facing in our relationships, and how are we handling such disappointments? So, and also you find that a lot of men then end up with abuse, alcohol and substance, drugs, nechi, abuse. Both for men, when they're facing emotional challenges, emotional issues, they take alcohol, drugs, some of them, that is, as a way of self-medicating, as a way of trying to regulate the emotions, because they are not emotionally intelligent. So I'm saying this so that as men, we also understand, when I'm going through this, what is the solution? What are the solutions? And I also want you to understand the source of your problems, the problems that then lead to mental health issues. So it's very important for us to take note of that. And this is happening, these cases are there, but we don't report abuse or claim abuse. Because embarrassment. You can't just walk into a police station or see a relationship counselor and emotionally and all that. Most men were not trained up that way. They were not trained up that way. You go to a person, you outsource for help when you have emotional challenges. They will not. They just
have to bottle it and be masculine. There's toxic masculinity as well, where they cannot even express their emotions. Will
anyone believe me? In this state, will people believe me? kutongotya chaiko. So it's very important for us, like we said last week. Unfortunately, you're not the weekend. I was with Erica, and we spoke about the importance of self-awareness. It was really very important as men. All right.
Anzi past and weekend apa emotional ndiyo ndakatopinda umushure me-emotional abuse kumba kwaitaurwa kusvika ndati it's better nditsvage kamfota ndiamwe vari kutaura ava
ndibaba murumeka.
hanzi Pastor Simba vataura mwakadzi mangongongo chaiwo vanorova nemboma yerurimi.
rimi rorwadza. And exactly, I think that mean, yes, I'm not justifying the action then yekuzonopinda into an emotional affair. We want to talk about that at some point, because it's very important for you to understand kuti emotional affair because emotional affair weekend inotorwadza kudarika a physical affair where people are involved physically. Ine ma repercussions asingaite long lasting problems asingaite emotional affair. So if we then don't put to an end this emotional abuse, a lot of people will then find reason to go out there and have what we call wake spouses, wake wives. We'll talk about that another day. Remember wake wives. Kumba ugasugita. I would rather have a wake wife.
That's why you're here, Pastor Simba. I'll be back after this. Godam is saying men's mental health is very important and we should continue talking about it. And it's good that we have, people like Pastor Simba here to raise awareness. So you were about to get into it and to give us, to lay...
Yes. What women must do now if they are emotionally intelligent, given the scenario we are likely to abuse our husbands emotionally. So I'll break it down. What must we do then? But before that weekend, I really wanted to comment on that couple. I think in our trending stories. It got me thinking weekend kuti makapo goes avanenge ari right. Tombosiya zvekuti vanga vane nyoka. But the fact yekuti murume akatomira namadhamu ake akavasapota akati nyoka ndeyedu. Ndizvo zvatototi chavo makapos, kuti mwako akakanganisa, you stand in their corner. And then
over covering
then mamega mamukona menyu zoti but iwo indawo usingasungire mbwa yako, usingasungire nyoka yako. You can do that. So that's a principle. Okay, let me get into what I wanted to say weekend. Number one, if you are emotionally intelligent as a wife, number one, don't tell, because this is the problem that most people do. They tell their husbands, you are failing to provide. So every time murume achidzoka kumba ari kutoziva ndo mashoka changotaurwa. Nokoma kwazvakaita zvinhu. Atoziva ndichienda kumba, I know kuti madam achati zvakati. So it's very important for us to use a lot of wisdom in terms of communicating. Kuti pane pari kuleka, rather than just saying you are not providing, itawo sevamwe varume. We get to hear such kind of statements. Then the question is, kana ndisina kufanana sevamwe varume, sei usina kuroorwa nevamwe varume ivavo, warege ngunoroorwa nevamwe varume ivavo nai. So it's important for us to use a lot of wisdom there. Kana pasina ma-provisions asiri enough, veduwe varume vanenge vachitraya kunzoko. Sometimes it's the economy, sometimes it's also things like that. But varume vanenge vachitrayawo. So please, let's appreciate even the little that they do.
Saka tova stage oseka kuti vapushiko.
With wisdom, with wisdom, matauro acho. Ndokune nyaya weekend, of course zvinosiyana case by case, but inyaya yekuti matauro acho, and at what point do you say zvauda kutaura zvacho? You have to wait for the right time and find the right words. Namata kuti Mwari ndipewo the right words kuti ndichitaura mumwe wangu asa discourage but ndimi encourage. Like I always say weekend, if you're going to criticize me, think about the solution first. Pampacho, you'd rather start by giving me a solution before you criticize me. But if you criticize me personal solution, then we are going nowhere. Then I will be defensive and all that. Saka, it's very important for you to find a very good way of talking, because you must treat makaoma. Wambona ere mavenda achimhanya mutaundi. Unoshanga kufunga kuti vakomana munhu anoappreciate here ukumba nemamhanyira ari kuita. So
imagine I end after a long day akamira achipiswa nezuva ngonotonotukwa. So as you're saying kuti kana wasarudza munhu wako, please mu encourage, some pressure,
because without that weekend the confidence emunhu inobva yafa. And munhu iye anenge atova in state of an emotional abuse, zvakawanda zvakutotaurwa mupfungwa dzake and all those things. Then number two, kune vamwe vanongotaura chiti I wish I'd married someone else. That's a very dangerous statement rather. Don't say that
to your husband.
You can't say that to your husband. Ndio wakatozorora kasaka zvakavharana. Let's not talk about the other options that you had. If there were good options, why didn't you go with those options? So it's very important for us not to use such such statements. Then number 3, comparing him with other men. You know, hey, vamwe vakadzi, sorry ndutaura kwakadzi nhasi, vamwe vakadzi pamwe pacho titomboita kunge titori majudges epa-idols chaichaio. Comparing, uda kundicompare nani? Why? On what grounds are you comparing me with baba wepa next door?
Baba ningi kavatenga mota, vavhura kambani, vadaiso vari kuvaka ukoko. Iwewe, no action.
It puts a lot of pressure on us, you know, to the point of unozviuraya chaiko. Believe me, you. So it's very important for us to be very careful when it comes to comparisons, comparing your husband with another person. Time one anosiyana pane seasons. There's a season for that man, for your man, and that season is coming. Yeah. But if you compare him with someone at one season market, you're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on him, and before you know it, he's in that emotional space where he doesn't even believe in himself, his confidence is very low and all that. So in fact the Bible says that judge not lest you be judged also. So let's not judge each other. Then number 4, that he is not good. Achapedzisa zvedu kuti kugood kupi kwacho because daytime pafare variko vanototaura kudaro. And the question again is uri ndikombera nani? And what it does, it kills someone's confidence, it kills them emotionally. Kana chiti emotionally totaura kushungurudzwa kwemoyo nemupfungwa, zvotomushungurudza ndanga kunetseka because munhu wemurume ari performance oriented. So if you want to attack a man, attack his performance in any area, whether kubasa kana kupi, kana uda kumataka, attack his performance because he's performance oriented. Saka izvozvo, let's try as much as possible to avoid that. Let's try to put it in a very easy way, in a way yokuti inomuencourage kuti ataura, aite open up if he's having challenges and all that, not just to accuse him like that. Zvinozomuomera. Then number 5, linked to that as well, weekend, there are some then that use the tactic of withholding intimacy if they have issues. And when I'm saying intimacy, I'm using this term in a broad sense, because intimacy comes in many forms. Yeah. It can be humor intimacy, it can be, social intimacy and all those things. So there are some people that then withhold intimacy. They use it as a tool to get whatever they want, as a currency. Kuti ukanditira zvakati ndobva ndakuitira zvakati, ukasanditirawo handikuitire zvakati. Tit for tat, marriage. Murume anoti hasha. I've always said this to couples, kuti there are small things when you look at these things, but zvinhu zvinopa hasha kumunhu womurume. Emotionally anenge atova in another space yokuti anogona kufa kana kuuraya simply because of a small thing. So it's unfair for us to use intimacy as a currency. Kuti ndikuite zvakati ndipe zvakati. We must desist from that because it puts men in an emotional space where they will be actually going through some form of abuse. Saka izvozvo, let's watch out for that. Then there's another form of abuse again, which is also emotional in nature. Alienating him from his children or his family. Vanhu vazhinji vanoziva weekend vanoda mhuri dzavo, vanoda family, vanoda the people that matter to them. And sometimes tactics atosenza mumpaka ndekuti alienate kuita kunge takaabducta munhu chaizvo. Takutoisa travel sections kuti auende kunoona hama dzako kana kuti auende kunoona.
Zviriko anti Pastor Simba.
Zvitoriko, this is so real. Kuti zvitoitika. Kuti there are people that can actually do that. They are manipulative to that extent. Yokuti vanokutokudza kuti ukauchaenda now that I'm here. Ukandidi kuenda because mai vako vanoroya kana mai sisi vako vakadai, things like that. So it puts men in that space where they feel like they are very lonely, angry, ega, and there's no hope for that man. Before you know it, is gravitating towards depression and all that. Tunotudiki toto tunotangira in that at that stage. So there are some. So it's important. Panone app of weekend to allow your men to attend men caves. But my men caves are there must be good men caves. Kachiti men caves nguva yekuti varume vachimboonana vachingotaurawo zvavo zvingava zvebhora kana zvichi. We must allow them to do that. But of course, I insist on good men caves, because I know out there are also bad men caves, where people go vachifurana mukadzi anonzwai kana kuti audaro, things like that, vachifurana zvisiri. So we still need those men caves, but we need safe ones. Then zvimwe zvakafanana nokuti one can actually threaten you kuti I'm going to leave you and keep you from seeing your kids. Nokuda kwaanoita vana vake, nokuda kwaanoita family, and when you threaten him like that, even though you don't mean it, but majokes mamwe asiri sensitive, majokes aya kuti anogona kukuvadza munhu even emotionally, anenge autofunga kuti zvechokwadi this might happen at some point in time, so they then go through that emotional abuse that I'm talking about. And unfortunately, like we say, varume havazonyanya kutaura.
Maybe ndosaka tichizozvitrivialize nekusanyatozviona and you, to really talk about it, because havazotauri when something is affecting them, kana kuti zvawataura zvamurwadza, they're not expressive.
Exactly. So we need to teach them to be expressive. I think we mentioned that last week, but I told us kuti varume, it's high time we start speaking up. Find someone that you can talk to, find someone that you can vent out to. It's now normal. You can talk to your person, your friend, you can talk to your pastor, you can find anyone that you can just talk to about anything that you're going through. So it's really very important. Then number 7, treating him like a child. Varume vachititwa kunge mwana. Zvitoriko, and you find kuti they are being abused verbally. Sezvatongoita vana. There are some people that are very abusive to their kids.
Yeah.
Let's find a way of talking to our husbands. We don't need to belittle them. We don't need to treat them like we're talking to our kids, to humiliate them, name calling in front of their friends and family. Unoona umwe baba zvanenge achiitwa kapamberi pevanhu, so unotonyara, unototya kuti naimi vedwe ndibaba wakuruka, but zvanenge achiitwa vachidhonzwa, iwe hand kana muri mukiu kana vechikafu hamene zvanenge achiti unodyisa uri kuita sei, ai musatidaro ana amai.
No, this is true, Pastor Simba. Yeah.
So quickly, what to do, Vikendi? Number 1, please pray for your husband. It's very important for you to pray for him and let him know that you're praying for him. It's very important. When was the last time you prayed for your husband? When was the last time you prayed for your boyfriend? They need that, because if you don't, they're going through a lot, and
so
they need
we're going to pray for our boyfriends as well. Good.
Yes, let's pray for them. They want to see the support. Never kutoenda kunofasta 30 days uchimunamatira murume mwana wamwene. It's very, very important. Then number 2, you also need to stand by him. Anoda support yako, stand by him. Don't wait kuti uzomira by him kana aane mari, but stand by him while he's still a chigunduru. Mira naye ipapo. It's very important, because the fear of failure in a lot of men, it is serious. It's so real. So it lessens when they know that their woman is standing by their side. And remember, like what I always say, Vikendi, now it's not the behind every successful man there's a woman. No, it's beside every successful woman there's a woman. So stand by his
there's
side.
A woman.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Pastor Simba. Unfortunately, our time, but your contact details, I guess we'll continue.